I'm really excited to chat with you and to introduce you to our community and welcome.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, I love just reading your profile, going over your offerings, your website, looking into your presence. You have a background that I personally really resonate with because what I sense is you carry a bit of that scholarly background and kind of, just interested in a lot of the, spiritual texts and various, aspects to what spirituality is. And that's something when I first got introduced to this world, I too was just kind of like a student, and that led me deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. And then eventually had a direct experience, which is what changed the whole thing. So I'm really looking forward to just hearing more about your story and your offerings, and yeah.
Cool. Well, that was a perfect segue. I think that we can all stand from this place where we are presently and kind of look back at the chronology of our life and see how we were led to this point, right? Sure. For me, it started at a very young age. My curiosity with spirituality. I was raised in a household with multiple faiths. So for me, it was like, well, how do we, there isn't one way. If my family believes in different dogmatic practices, then there can't just be one, right? One way to be. But that in tandem with never really resonating with dogma in that way, with sort of these rules that we set in place for each other as humans. I never resonated with these religions that I was raised amongst. And my family isn't conservative. So, I was introduced to these cultures in ways that my family brought in, but it wasn't really forced upon me. I was allowed, I was able to explore myself. So like I said, I've kind of always had that feeling and that belief, my own belief system in that way. And then in college, I was a religious studies major. I studied religion and art. And for me, it was really about a comparative study. I like to say how, everybody's taking different trails to the same mountaintop, if you will. You look at the ways that humans perceive and understand spirituality. And really, the root of it all is love and kindness, right? That's the goal when you break it down. So for me, it was my studies were very comparative. But what I found myself gravitating towards were the Eastern spiritualities. What resonated with me were the thoughts and concepts of karma and reincarnation and something bigger than, these planetary rules that we set in place for ourselves. And I had the opportunity, my senior year in college, just a little ways back, to travel to northeastern Tibet.
Oh, wow.
Which was the experience of a lifetime. I got to go to places on that part of the planet where Westerners have never been allowed to go. We've got special permits, and we were in an area that wasn't as politically focused on. So Tibetan culture was able to thrive and be out in the open more. And my main focus on that trip was studying sacred geometry. That's really where I found that tangible, comparative way that we all connect to something bigger in the same way. So I looked at knots and stars and symbols and ways that humans connect their spirituality tangibly. I was at a monastery in Tibet, and a monk had drawn a six-pointed star in a window. I'm like, well, look at that. There's a Star of David here in this window in Tibet, where they would never have known necessarily anything about Judaism or this symbol, And so I wrote my thesis on sacred geometry, a comparative study on how we all have drawn and pulled these symbols and this art from different places all over the world, and it comes out the same. So that was that was the beginning of my exploration within that. I also went to school in a place where I was surrounded by like-minded people in Northern California. And so I was able to explore and thrive. And like you said, you know, you start from this place, from this like 3D place of exploring how humans feel spiritually. And then you go down the rabbit hole. And then you do the deep dive. And for me, it's been a long journey. My awakening, like I said, for me, it wasn't necessarily like a bam, one day something, a flip switched and all of a sudden I was connected. Like it was a slow progression for me, like you said, in a scholarly way to sort of get me to where I am. Let's see, what came next? So I had those studies, went on with my life and my path. And started learning more about channeling and, you know, group matrix and law of attraction. I think we all remember when The Secret came out. I think that was all of our first introduction to the concept, right? And then I found Abraham Hicks from there, and that really blasted me open to the multidimensional life that we all live. So you know, it was nothing new for me for years. I sort of built upon that and started studying the multidimensional ways in which we exist. And then I went through some rough years and some rough times.
I was going to say, you know, that was like, my comment was going to be, you're the first person that's never talked about any suffering.
Oh, just wait.
Wait, here it is.
Because we can't become healers unless we can't lead somebody down a path that we don't know the way that we've never walked before. Yes. Right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, in 2017, I went through Hurricane Maria. I live on St. Croix. I haven't really said that yet. I live down in the Virgin Islands. My path led me here, which that's a whole other story. From what I've come to discover through my own quantum healing journey is that for me, this is karmic, and I'm coming back to a place that I've spent a lifetime before and healing it. So I live on St. Croix, and in 2017, we experienced two back-to-back Category 5 hurricanes, Irma and Maria. St. John was taken out by Irma, and in the next 2 weeks, everybody on St. Croix, we sent all of our resources to them. Everybody, the civilians, got on their boats, and we brought generators, we brought supplies, we helped our sister island. And then 2 weeks later, we got Hurricane Maria. And the island was devastated. I'm a florist as well. That's my artistic side of me. And I use only locally grown flowers. So after that hurricane, my business was taken away. There wasn't a leaf on a tree. And we were out of power for 4 months after that. So that was quite an experience in adapting to, you know, life and how it can knock you down, and still thriving within that. The next year, I got pregnant, and I, through that experience, I wasn't very supported. I kind of went through that, not necessarily solo, but not supported in the ways that we should be. And then I came down with a severe preeclampsia. I went in for my 32-week checkup and discovered that my blood pressure was over 195, and it was time for my baby to come out. So I had a preemie. She was 2 months early, and she was in the NICU here for 6 weeks. So I was visiting her every day and dedicating my body to that. I was pumping every 2 to 3 hours around the clock to bring her milk and support her. And that was, that was an experience in strength and trust, right? So she came home. She's amazing. She's 5 now, thriving. She's very teeny, but she was a little warrior. She took her oxygen off herself, night 1. just needed a little jump start. She's my little warrior princess. But again, through that, not supported in the ways that one, I hate to use the word should, right? But in the ways that one would desire or want to be supported through that process. So I found myself after these years of challenges and life kind of knocking me down to a place where I was really on a quest to find sovereignty and empowerment and sort of find myself again. I know that kind of sounds cliche, but that's what this all is, right? It's reconnecting to those deeper part of ourselves that sometimes when these challenges happen, they draw us away. They sort of split us from our essence. So in that quest to find sovereignty, I discovered quantum healing. I wanted to find a way, like I said, to reconnect myself, but also to connect myself to the bigger parts of me. And I was guided to find my teacher and mentor's podcast. One day I just thought, you know what, let me explore this. Let me see what I can find. I'm sorry, I forgot to. There we go. But now things are coming in. Okay. So I found her podcast, and it was like, that was sort of when the switch flipped. And she broadcast her sessions with people. And I was like, this is amazing. I had always been curious about past life regression. Years and years ago, I had read Brian Weiss's book, Many Lives, Many Masters. It was something that I had this craving to explore, but I never had the opportunity to. And I visited psychic readers throughout my life. I value them so much. And through those, I always was kind of like, this is amazing, but I want to see for myself. Yeah. I'm highly intuitive, but I'm not psychic. So I feel like there's kind of a difference in those. There's a distinguishing difference between those. And so for me, it was like, okay, I want to know more, but I want to tap in myself. How do I do that? And I discovered my teacher's podcast, and I got to listen to her sessions with people. And I was like, this is it. And I was really guided, and it happened very quickly for me. I was like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. I want to learn this. I want to receive it. But I also want to provide this for people. I'm highly intuitive, and I've always wanted to help people on a bigger level. I help the earth, and I'm a plant person, but how can I do my job, the reason why I'm here on this planet right now, to assist people in their awakenings and their exploration of their bigger selves, their quantum selves. So through learning the modality, we also receive the modality. And so along this path of learning how to facilitate this, I was on my own journey as well, which is continuing. It's infinite. Yeah. There's never, it's not like, okay, it's like, not like, okay, therapy, you're done. You won therapy, you graduated, it's like, this is endless and infinite, and we have infinite experiences to explore. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of, in a nutshell, the path that led me to where I am now. It has been a life-changing journey for me to receive and go down my path with quantum healing, but also I'm the most honored and grateful that I've ever been to facilitate this for people and to help guide people along their journeys of self-discovery and empowerment, and just realizing that we are so much bigger than this tangible human body that we're in right now. We're not bodies. We're not just human physical bodies. We're souls, right? We're souls spending a moment in a body, and our souls are infinite. And so quantum healing and hypnosis is a way to remember our soul's journey in all of these different chapters. Like, this is just one chapter, right? Yeah. In the infinite journey that we're on. So
yeah. So that's what I want to transition into next, and I want to say thank you so much for sharing your story and being vulnerable, opening up. I know these things are not necessarily easy to talk about. I do often put you in the spot to
I'm ready for it.
yeah, to just be as authentically vulnerable as you are, and it serves the world, right? It helps to raise the vibration when we don't hide it to any capacity. So I appreciate your candor and your vulnerability, and just being here and being real. Um, and your story is one that I think just will resonate deeply with whoever is viewing this and whoever does view it. And I think it's particularly interesting how, that foundational start of having multiple faiths within your upbringing could lead, because that to me makes so much intuitive sense and practical sense of like, well, if you have one person telling you this is the truth and another person telling you this is the truth, and they both think they're right, and they both defend it, it's like, well, what is actually true? And it can set you on that quest to just go figure it out, explore it for yourself, and let your own direct experience be your North Star and your guide.
Right.
Um, so anyway, thank you so much for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And
you have to be authentic. That's like you said, the more authentically we all live, it ripples out and it shows others how to be in their authenticity as well.
Yeah. And I spent my former life in finance, and that is the pinnacle of ego masks, and just so inauthentic. It's suffocating. And so whenever I am able to chat with anyone who's real and shares this presence with me, it's so refreshing, and it's so enriching and enlivening, because that life in finance, in that world, that ego tower is that's not life.
Right.
That's
Well, and
illusion.
yeah, and you get to a point where you're evolving your frequency, right? And so other aspects of life or individuals, people, parts of our life that aren't in alignment with those frequencies really naturally fall away.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of us that are on this path, that things have to kind of get shaken up in our life, right? But then it has to happen in order for things that aren't serving us to fall away.
Yeah.
Right. Like you as well, I stopped
Yeah.
drinking in the past couple of years. It's like, and it wasn't some big choice that I made. It was just wasn't serving me. And the more we pay attention to those things that aren't serving us, those relationships and dynamics, the more we can align with what is in the frequencies that we're matching.
Yeah, really well said. And that's exactly what's happening. And I see this is what, not to go down this rabbit hole right now, but like this is what Awakenpedia is for, and why it has arisen by its own accord, right? I didn't make this. This is just being made through me,
Mm-hmm.
created through me, and through all of us. It's not just me now. This is all of us. This is a global effort.
Oh,
at
yeah.
This point. And
this is it. We're in it. It's happening. It's time. This is why we're here.
And it's beautiful to witness. And I feel like, more and more people who are waking up and stepping into their authentic selves, their quantum self, perhaps, the higher self, and they're coming into connectedness with that. They're starting to shy away from these lower vibrating fields and careers and ways of serving, like finance or different things. In and of themselves, they're not bad, but like when you're plugged into that egoic jet stream of unconsciousness, that's when it's toxic. And so when people are like, me myself, I can't go back into finance because I'm not vibrating at that level, and with the people who are in that, plugged into that environment. So I feel more and more people are waking up and being drawn to serve, like you, like me. And this is just the beginning. Like, we're still this little tiny pocket of light here that is just starting, to flicker. But I foresee the vision of this roaring into a massive flame, and taking the world by storm, helping transition us into the new earth, this new paradigm. And it's here and now, but it's and that's why I think it's so important that we have platforms like Awakenpedia, and I want there to be a blossoming of so many, because we need as many light workers as possible to help us shift this collective consciousness.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh, I'm passionate about it, so I get into things.
It's awesome. I love it. Don't hide that.
Yeah. But I want to, let's go back to you, and I want to hear about how you actually would describe quantum healing. Just because, from a worldly perspective, sometimes, especially like someone who's not as perhaps tuned in as you are, it's
Like,
they don't know what it means. What is it, right?
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So can you just talk to us about how you see it, what it means to you?
Absolutely. So the premise that is important to understand with quantum healing is what quantum means, right? We are on a planet in a moment in time in the fabric of the universe, which time is a human construct. There's no one else in the universe that uses time. Humans, we've set up this time to manage ourselves, to be able to meet at a certain place and to organize ourselves, right? We use time to organize ourselves on Earth. But we need to remember that we are in space. We are part of an intergalactic place in this space and time. And it's a continuation. Okay, let me articulate myself. So between that and us living these chapters over and over and over, not having this one lifetime, our soul is on a continuous journey, right? And our soul has visited these points in the fabric of the universe at different places and different incarnations that we've had. And anything that's ever happened on our soul's journey is stored in our consciousness. And so to reframe life, like I said, and thinking about this lifetime as just one chapter in a bigger story, we can understand that other incarnations and experiences that we've had are just as relative to this moment that we're in right now. Everything that our souls ever experienced is contributing to the moment we're in, to who we are and what our experience is. Quantum hypnosis helps us tap into those memories. It also helps us tap into our higher self and communicate with higher self, guides, other fractals, other moments in time that we've been, other places in the fabric of the universe that we've visited through our life's experience. Quantum hypnosis is a way it's essentially, we call it hypnosis for lack of a better word. I think people get their mind wrapped around hypnosis in the terms that we're going in there to infiltrate or change mannerisms or behaviors, and that's not what it is. We call it hypnosis because there's an induction process through a guided meditation. So in that, I'm guiding you with your breath, with visualization and meditation, to a theta brainwave state. When we're in theta, we allow our conscious mind to take a back seat. We're still able to communicate. We're still present, right? We're still present in 3D. We're not completely gone. We're still able to communicate and explain what we're experiencing. And that's how I guide one through the process. But when we turn off our conscious mind, we're able to connect with everything else, right? We're able to experience memories from other lifetimes. We're able to communicate with other parts of ourselves. And the healing comes in where this is a holistic experience. Quantum holistic way is that something that happened to your soul in another lifetime is just as important as something that happened to you in this lifetime when you were 5 years old. Everything contributes. So when we can access those memories and tap into our other experiences of our soul, we can understand what we're going through now. And we can also heal karma. It's like you're able to see your karma. You're able to see the path that led you here. So it helps us understand challenges that we might have, questions that we have of what we're going through now. It helps us connect timelines in a way. We're essentially time traveling. I love that. But there's two parts of quantum hypnosis and quantum healing. So first, you're guided into memories that all apply to an intention you have set before. Each session is different. We have a different specific intention set when we go in, and a list of questions that we have for our higher self. So you're presented with these memories by your higher self, by your team, to explain the questions that you have going into it. And after you've been shown these memories, and then we kind of switch over to a channeling portion where we connect with our higher selves. We invite any other fractals of ourselves to come in, and we ask these questions that we have. So you're essentially, you're in direct communication with the highest form of intuition, your oversoul, the part of you that has seen it all, that knows it all, that knows everything about you, past, present, future. So it's like I say, it's really guiding one into their own psychic reading. It's connecting you to the bigger multidimensional parts of yourself. And these lifetimes, a lot of us have work to do in lifetimes on Earth. Some apply to this lifetime. Some it depends on what you're seeking and what you're wanting to heal from and explore. And some of these lifetimes that we experience, and a lot of us, I'm sure in here, experience galactic memories and lifetimes in other places than Earth, because this is a very new place in terms of galactic history. And so we call ourselves star seeds. I'm sure you're familiar with that, and maybe many people within the community are as well. Many people discover those galactic lifetimes. Many of my clients do, and some don't, and that's okay. It's not my angle and goal isn't necessarily focused on the galactic stuff. I'm excited when it comes up, but I don't want to corner anyone into anything. We all have our own experience. Some of us have spent more time on Earth that we need to explore, and some have spent most of our time in other places. So it's very multidimensional, it's very intergalactic, and it really is life-changing in the sense that it opens your world and empowers you to understand that you are so much bigger than this person that you are right now. This physical body that you're in right now is just a fragment of who you are.
Yeah, I think wonderful overview, and thanks for providing that your context and your perspective on it. I think that's important because you have your own unique energetic vibration, and that informs the way in which that you see quantum healing, quantum hypnosis, and then how you then facilitate it, right? That guides your facilitation process, which is unique to you.
True.
But I think that seeing life from the quantum view and looking at this current incarnation as just one chapter in your long life book, if you want to call it that, it helps you to ground yourself in this experience here and now, and it helps to uproot you from fear, which is to uproot you from the mind and to bring you back into your heart space. Because when you realize that this is the end of this incarnation is a doorway into another, no longer is death the end of life, but it's the end of this form. And so you're just transitioning into your next form. Energy is not created nor destroyed, it's transmuted. And so you can enjoy this ride now. You can see it as one to learn, to play, to experience as this soul in this vessel. And you can, travel into the multidimensional nature of our existence. And it just, so having a sophisticated, intuitive understanding and connection with quantum quantum healing, quantum science, the bridging of those two, it will allow you to experience life here with more peace and ease.
It's like a big hug from the universe.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, definitely makes you feel more calm and grounded and safe, because you know that, like you said, so much bigger. Life and who we are is so much bigger than our what we can perceive with our senses, right? The body, the mind, even it's and so it implores us to surrender to this experience and to just be a student of it, which is why I really appreciate bringing that type of scholar curiosity um, in that way, just like being a student of life, a student of the cosmos.
Mm-hmm. And also to have trust, like you said, when you understand that there's so many bigger aspects in play, we can trust and kind of sit back and enjoy the ride in a way. And then also something that I really, really want to point out about this process is that through quantum healing, we open up the gates of intuition. So through this journey, when you start receiving sessions, each time it's almost like you level up in intuition and connection to your higher self. You start receiving more messages. You start understanding. It's like you're able to meet your higher self halfway. So it doesn't just happen when you're in session. You'll start to realize that throughout in your life moving forward, this deeper connection that you have, and you're able to see the messages. You're able to receive the messages. And that's why I also call myself like an intuitive counselor, because now that I've been on this journey of healing myself and others, I receive messages all the time when I speak with people and we're my clients and we're discussing and we're going through, what they experienced in their session. I'm receiving channeled messages as well. So this journey is so unexpected in the way that you really have no idea what it's going to do for you until you're in it. It's a wild ride, and it's something that I would never. You can't go back. once you're propelled in that way, synchronicities. Yeah, once you're propelled in that way, it's exponential, and the connection that you have just keeps building and building and building, and then the trust in that you have keeps building and building and building, and then the dynamics in your life that feel like they're not serving you, you can trust and let go and just know that there's that bigger picture going on. So it's really like it taps you in and it turns you on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so important to emphasize that because most of the world today, so as I feel and it seems, is still, like coming into this, right? Like taking the first steps, so it seems, into this awareness. And so many people perhaps hear what we're talking about and can and often do call it crazy, woo-woo, wacko stuff. And like what I really want to help normalize is the message that this is the most real thing there is. Like, and I come from a finance background. I went to Yale. I was raised in a materialistic environment, groomed and conditioned in a worldly way, sitting on top of Goldman Sachs skyscraper stuff, like plugged into that, right? And this all happened to me and through me. And I speak from my own direct experience to point to the reality of what we're talking about here. And I think it's so important for people who are still plugged into the world right now to know that this is real, and this isn't made up by, this isn't like you can't even make this stuff up. It's too hard to make it up.
Yeah, once you lift the veil, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it's like you can't unsee what's seen. And just surrender, right? So if you're in that position right now where I was a few years ago, and maybe you have just an inkling of curiosity, an inkling of some type of pull from your soul to say, there's something more, there's something deeper here. Just like have a session with you, right? Like just give it a chance. Just see. Why not? What do you have to lose? Like,
and also too, you know, it in the physicality of it too. Having a session is really a reset. Like I said, you know, the induction process is a guided meditation. We do breath work. We align our chakras each time. And so I know, you know, I know so many of us would like to have meditation be more of a consistent part of our lives, right? It's something that I think so many people just don't have the time for. You know, we all know that it's something everyone should be doing every day, but, you know, to find time in our human lives. Yeah, so this process is really a reset as well, and it teaches us how to access those parts of our consciousness and how to quiet our mind. I have a spicy mind. I have a very busy mind. So for me, it took a little work to be able to find that calm and find that peace within my mind and get there. So in that way, this is really healing and helpful as well. It helps us, those of us who have a little trouble with the dynamics of human life and get a little, you know, spiraled out with our spicy brains. Little, you know, a lot of us, I think, are neurodivergent in the way that we're just not quite, you know, the same as what, you know, what would be considered normalcy. You know, it helps, to me, it helped really find peace and quiet myself and quiet my mind and learn how to find that meditative space as well.
Yeah. So many practical benefits. All right, so let's just quickly transition, if it's okay, to talk about your containers, you know, your packages, what you offer specifically. If you could just speak to how you kind of package this, your session.
Yeah, so sure. The one-on-one, I offer one-on-one sessions. I'm also reworking a package if there's people that want to do more of, they know coming in that they're going to want more than one session, and you know you're committed to the journey to do a longer offering, like a month or two offering where it's a package where you're receiving multiple sessions. But the one-on-one first session that you will receive is not just one meeting. It's divided into 3 parts. So the first time we meet is your intake consultation, where it's about an hour-long Zoom meeting. Everything is done virtually, and we'll meet, and I get to know you a bit more and your path and where you're at, how you came to be in this place. Explain the process, and then we formulate your intention and questions for your session. So that's the first time we meet. The second time we meet is your hypnosis session. Lasts about 2 to 2.5 hours because the induction process takes about 30 minutes. And then once you're in, like I said, some give or take 2.5 hours. And then the third time we meet is a few days later for our integration call to let it all settle in. It takes a little time after a couple days after this it's a lot of energy work, first off. So to rest, retain, understand, and remember what you've experienced in your session. And then we meet and talk about how to integrate it into your life, how to bring it all together and what it all means. So it's a 3-part. We spend your one-on-one session in 3 parts is around 4 to 4.5 hours that we spend together.
Wow. Okay.
And then from there, once I've gotten to know you as a client, we don't necessarily have to do the intake call every time. Once you understand the process and I've gotten to know you, you can submit your intention and questions to me. We'll have a little few-minute talk about it before your session, and we'll just dive right into the session at that point, once you're onboarded with me, once you've done your intake consultation. So that's the first step. So anyone that's interested in receiving a session, go ahead and go on. You can schedule your intake consultation. And then I like to do sessions within a week after your intake, because the questions that you have coming in, might shift and change. You know, it's really about the moment that you're in, and each session that you receive, there's always things to explore, whether it be what you're experiencing or going through in your current lifetime, or whether you just want to dive out and look at other incarnations that you either know about or are curious about.
Yeah.
I also look forward to I do group sessions as well. So I really am excited about your monthly group offerings, which is so cool that you're doing that. Because I do everything from, you know, guided meditation to guided hypnosis. Whether it be aligning your chakras in a short guided meditation, or, for example, a meeting your star family group hypnosis, which is really fun too. So I'm excited about offering those as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for saying that. And look, you know, this is the fun part now, because with the beginning of this relationship together, I'm so glad that we connected and that we're able to make this happen. And I'm looking forward to, you know, just helping you to further blossom into the amazing practitioner that you are, and sharing your services but mostly your presence with the community.
Thanks.
And, you know, and beyond. We serve the same mission. We're doing the same work, and it's just, you know, I'm really happy that we're connected and, you know, and joined now to serve together.
Likewise. Thank you for doing this. It's amazing. It's really cool, and I appreciate how your goal is to help practitioners as much as it is to help your members.
Yeah,
it's really beautiful. It's a really beautiful community that you've set up.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, look, I think this is a good place to wrap up. Thank you for everyone who tuned in today.
Thank you all. I look forward to meeting you all.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing space with us.
Yeah. And if you want to learn more about Jayme, you can go to our member forum, check out her partner profile. She's got a bio, direct booking links, discounts, all the good stuff. And you'll be seeing a lot more of her in the future.
Yay. I'm excited. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.